In this video, we're going to cover 5 things that push an avoidant away so that you can maintain boundaries and foster a healthy relationship. Okay, so I'm still recovering from a cold, everybody. So my voice is a little shaky. So thanks for bearing with me. But if you're new to attachment theory, there's 4 main attachment styles. And today we're mostly going to be covering the dismissive avoidant. The fearful avoidant is disorganized because it's kind of a mix of both anxious and dismissive, but we're mostly going to be covering what triggers the dismissive avoidant and what causes them to pull away. So what these triggers are going to push them away. So first there's excessive emotional demands, right? So this is a big one. Avoidants tend to struggle with intense emotional expression, especially if they feel pressured to respond in a certain way. So things like seeking reassurance, demanding vulnerability, it's going to be overwhelming for them. So when you express your emotions in an overwhelming way, whether those emotions are positive or negative, it's going to overwhelm them. So they have emotions, but they're not always comfortable processing them with a partner. So they prefer to self-soothe and process those emotions in their own space. So it's important to honor that boundary and let them express their emotions on their own terms, and at the same time show appreciation for the ways that they do show up in the relationship, for the ways that they do show up, the ways that they do express their emotions in their subtle ways that they do. It's those little things that matter. And number 2, overanalyzing the relationship. So people with an anxious attachment style tend to do this. They'll overanalyze every detail of the relationship. So like, why did they send only 1 smiley emoji when the other day they sent 3 smiley emojis? Or maybe questioning their commitment, blowing things out of proportion. This can really trigger a dismissive avoidant and their feelings of unworthiness, kind of like making them feel like they're not enough. The relationships are going to have issues, but overanalyzing every tiny issue, bringing up every tiny issue constantly is going to push them away. So they shouldn't feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you. So if you catch yourself overanalyzing in the relationship, remember to cool it. Cool it. So number 3, pressuring them to change. Okay, so you might feel that if a partner is not showing up in the relationship in a way that you would expect, right? Then you might be pressuring them to change, like nagging them to show up in certain ways, to change their behavior or how they express themselves. So this is really going to push them away because, again, you're triggering their sense of self-worth. It's like saying like they're not enough. So accept them and appreciate them for the ways, again, that they do show up in the relationship, for what they do bring to the relationship. Yes, you both have needs that need to be met, but find a way to balance those needs in a way that they can be met, that doesn't demand them to change, that doesn't demand them to change their behavior so much, because it's going to be overwhelming for them. Number 4, okay, over involvement in their life. So inserting yourself in every aspect of their life, probing their friendships, questioning what they're doing. This constant excessive, where were you last night? Who are you with? Who are you talking to? What are you doing right now? Like it's going to overwhelm them, and it's going to threaten their independence. This is really going to cause them to pull away. You're only going to push them away with this. So you don't need to be glued to them, right? You don't need to be glued to your partner. You're both 2 individuals, and you can have a healthy interdependent relationship that still allows each of you to have your own life. And you should encourage that for each other because it's good for the relationship. It's good for both of you and the relationship. So number 5, okay, constant criticism. So avoidants do not respond well to criticism, especially excessive criticism. So pointing out their flaws, right? Flaw finding, pointing out all of their flaws, all of their shortcomings. Again, it's going to feel like an attack on their identity, their self-worth. So if you catch yourself flaw finding, looking for their shortcomings, pointing out all of their flaws, you really need to cool it. There's healthier ways to have a discussion. If something is bothering you, there's healthy ways to have that discussion. You don't need to flaw find and play the blame game and blame them for everything. So discussions about your needs should be handled very delicately. Delicately. Remember that word, delicately. Okay? Instead of blaming, criticizing this and that, have healthy discussions about each other's needs that encourage each other, okay? You encourage each other rather than highlighting their flaws, flaw finding. So remember, the goal in the relationship, it's not to change your partner, it's not to change their behavior, but to appreciate each other and be aware of their need for independence. So if you have an anxious attachment style, that might scare you, right? But understand that avoidance, they have a need for their own space, for their independence, so that they can process emotions on their own terms, on their own time. They process emotions differently from someone, say, with an anxious attachment style or a secure attachment style. So allow them that space and allow them to have that independence. And when they do take time and space for themselves, take some time and space for yourself too. Try to adopt some of that independence for yourself, because it's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for both of you. And you're going to find yourself in a thriving relationship over time. Over time, it's going to become more and more of an interdependent relationship where you both can maintain each other's identity and sense of self-worth and honor each other's boundaries and needs. And it'll be a great relation. It can really work out. Just remember to honor those boundaries and watch these 5 triggers when you're dating an avoidant, because it's going to push them away. So I hope I brought some good into your life today. If so, please like and subscribe, and please share your thoughts and your ideas and your experiences in the comments. I love reading everybody's stories. I love reading and responding to them. It's been great. And if you think this video might help somebody, then please share it with them. So until next time, you take care, and I'll see you in the next.